Hello there, and welcome back to Talking Leeds. It's another match reaction here after yesterday's goalless draw at Elland Road with Newcastle to take us into the international break with 4 points. I'm joined as always by Jerry McNamee. Jerry, what are your thoughts on that?
I
Not much to talk about, but
I think it was definitely much better. I said when I saw these fixtures, 4 points from the first three games would be brilliant, and delighted with that. I was happy with a point yesterday. It's positive going into the international break, because we've had a lousy week, beaten by the under 12s and losing heavily to Arsenal. And I thought going into the game yesterday. I thought Strike at the back, and I thought Bijal will be in. Gruev, not happy with that. Um, but I have to say, I thought we played really well in a tough game against a team that's in the Champions League. The step up. I mean, we look big; they look very big. We're just getting up to big. They're big. I think the distance between the two Dans yesterday, Dan James and Dan Byrne, was hilarious.
yeah.
Dan James came up for a header, and I think getting to his knee. But no, I think overall we battled. I thought Sean Longstaff was man of the match, excellent, and the rest of our midfield got stuck in, grafted. Gruev played well. I thought two centre halves, won most of the set pieces. Keeper made a couple of decent saves. Kicking, yeah, still to work on. Although I think we are going longer more times now, and I think there was a lot of big players, and it was hard to win the ball up there. And I thought the match up front, I thought his hold up play, he wrestled, he made them think, and then he was battling, and he more than once he got a touch, even a flick on, but he was giving them a game up there. And even Calvert Lewin, who after the week he's had, he came on and very lively, and unlucky not to get the winner in the end, but he looked up for it. So I think lots of positives coming out of yesterday. Um, we had Jack Harrison and Aronson come on, which a lot of people thought, but Jack's doing all right. I'm not sure about Brendan, God love him, but I think Jack was doing all right. Final ball needs a bit of work. And throughout the team, I thought Willie worked hard. Dan James needed to get up to speed. Thought our fullbacks, Goodmanson again, decent. Bogle looks to step up, and we actually had GG going off and JJ coming on. James Justin, who looked in his cameo, looked decent as well. So all in all, I'm happy going into the international break with 4 points. We're 11th place. Possibly we might drop Ben and Villa Palace, which has been played at midnight or something tonight. And you look around us, and there's teams winning and losing, and we beat Everton, who've been decent since. So I think, yeah, we didn't expect to win against Arsenal, and hopefully, couple of players in tomorrow. Hopefully, not empty planes flying into Leeds Bradford, and yeah, we have a couple of people come in, maybe a few come out, and let's relax and enjoy what we've done so far.
Yeah. I mean, you've covered pretty much everything there, Jerry. To be honest, which in what was quite a boring game. Yeah, it was. I mean, being from Newcastle, and most of my friends are Newcastle fans, and we were sort of discussing afterwards, saying, well, at least the friendships remained intact because there is literally nothing that happened. I mean, I think I saw a stat about the XG combined; it was one. About zero 0.5 each. Yeah, neither team really ever looked like scoring. Um, but yeah, I think it's important to be happy with what we've done, isn't it? And we did graft Longstaff. Not a great start. I think first couple of games didn't look particularly good, but could easily have been phased by yesterday. But put himself about, and put an absolute reducer on Guimaraes. I think about 20 minutes in or something, which was welcome. Um, but kind of talked about everything we we can already. So
Yeah.
in terms of tomorrow, then the deadline, certainly for me, and I think certainly what a lot of people have said is that with a couple of extra forwards, or maybe just that difference maker like that Pike Shaw, for example, or Buonanotte, we lost out on before the weekend. we could potentially have nicked that. And I think one particular worry for me, Jerry, and I'd be interested to know if you agree, is that midfield looks solid, defense looks fine, but going forward, it needs a lot of work, and there are going to be games for the rest of the season where we might play like that, not score, but still leak a goal where we need to get a goal. So is that sort of do you
Yeah.
think if we don't get a player in, do you think we've got enough with what we had yesterday?
Well, Fark even said, he needs a couple more in, and that'll probably see us across the line. If not, it could be a tough season. Yeah, we do need more up front. I think the rumours are Gus Hamer has been mentioned. Apparently, he's at the Hungarian Grand Prix today. Somebody's told me, but he can always do medical over there. I've heard from a good source in Sheffield that they reckon he's coming to Leeds. Also, this Armenian guy playing in Russia, Spritzer, or I just call him Eddie Spritz. He scored something like 5 goals in 7 games, and there's a link to him today. Josh Sargent gets mentioned, but it's all very quiet. So does that mean they're working away, or does that mean nothing happened? Because we don't want. I mean, deadline day disasters like I think Harry Haribo came in one year. Remember Harry Haribo?
Yeah.
And we had Don't Go to Bed Just Yet, the famous BBC pod's named after, because they said, yeah, more business, and we sold Matt Smith, who we just given a new contract to. We had planes in airports and no player. Banga Dang, what was his name?
Yeah,
And then we got
Bamba
Willie,
Dieng, yeah, on
Banga Dieng,
the
and Cody
tarmac, ready
Gakpo.
to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we lots of that. I mean, that guy went to Chelsea, Buonanotte. Why did he go to Chelsea? He's never going to play. Jesus.
Yeah,
So I think, and it's interesting who's going to go out, because we've 25 players. And interesting, talking on another podcast, the View, we were saying that Joel Perreault, what's his future? If we need someone to go out, could he be the name? There might be a couple of shocks. We've still got players to shift, Melier and JB, although they're not in the 25-man squad. So there's going to be a lot of business tomorrow, I think, for Leeds, which is a lot of years we've not been involved in deadline day. So I think we hopefully will get someone in, but we just need that bit extra up front. But I think 2 clean sheets, which is, I think, more than Southampton and Ipswich got last year, or I think it was only about 5 clean sheets between all 3 teams that went down last year. So I think we're setting good foundations, but yeah, we need a bit more up front. But 2 tough games, Newcastle and Arsenal. We ain't going to get much change out of them, and it's best get them out of the way. And as we look around us as well, so I'm just looking at Liverpool. Liverpool have just scored. Yeah.
How have they? I must be behind you, Jerry. They've just got a free kick.
Yeah. It's the Hungarian guy who I'll be watching playing against Ireland next week, who I can't pronounce. Why can't players be called Smith and Jones? I can work with that. Don't give me.
Don't give me Z's next to S's.
No, I need vowels and consonants. Yeah. So it's
wow. That is a finish and a half.
Yeah. Poor Declan. I think for Declan.
Oh well.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I sat through the Old Firm today as well. That was bad. Never mind 0-0 yesterday. But yeah, there's going to be some business tomorrow, and we do need a bit extra up front. But I think I think we're in with a fighting chance. I mean, I'd say look around you. Forest lost today. City lost today. Lots of teams win and lose. Bournemouth win. Oh yeah, that was a good goal. Bournemouth win, and so we got. Great goal. Declan looks really sad.
Anyway, what are we doing? Is this a Liverpool channel or a Leeds channel?
It's just funny. It's Schadenfreude. It's funny watching.
It is actually. It's nice to watch. Like, I mean, it was almost really nice to watch Scum yesterday. I mean, it was still something's really not right over there. It's just something's really rotten there. But City as well. That was quite entertaining. Today they lost, and I think. I mean, going back to the match for a second, because there are just a couple of things that sort of keep cropping up. Someone who I was really impressed with yesterday was Dominic Calvert-Lewin. And I was saying this since Tuesday. I thought his debut against Sheff Wednesday was actually really promising. And I might have mentioned this on the last reaction. and I purely meant because, about strikers and about how you worry about them if they're not getting in the positions to score. You don't really worry about them finishing. And obviously, it was a game where, I mean, realistically, if he had scored one of those really good chances, would we be hailing him as like, the saviour if he'd had bailed us out against Sheffield Wednesday? Probably not. So, and I know he blazed his penalty over the bar, but yesterday I thought he came on. I mean, I thought for one, Metcher was ineffective. One of the worst performances I've seen from a lead
Oh, I
striker
totally disagree with you. I
in a while.
totally disagree with you on that.
Really?
I thought I
I
thought
don't understand where people are, what people saw
if
yesterday
you
from
if
Metcher.
you
I don't.
watch him, the ball came up to him and he was constantly wrestling with Botman, and the amount of times he got that little touch, he gave them something to think about. Whereas someone like Pirro and that would have been ineffective, but it wasn't pretty, But I think maybe not. He's not going to be our number 9 who's going to get us 10, 15 goals. But I thought he really wrestled and won the ball, and I think he worked so hard. And now they're difficult. The land of the giants against Cher as well. If he could turn back time, I love that joke. It's my favorite Cher joke. And they're up against a very experienced Newcastle. So I think he did a job yesterday, and I think it wasn't a pretty one, but it was a job needed doing against them. And I think he will upset a lot of other centre halves doing that. But I seen that a lot of people thought he was poor, but I thought I really enjoyed watching him yesterday. I thought he worked them.
I mean, yeah,
WWE.
I see exactly, and to be honest, I think part of the reason why he did look so poor, I think, is again because we don't currently have that player he can knock it off to then go and play. And there was a lot of poor decision making from James, James Nonto and Stack as well, with a few wayward passes. I know the conditions weren't great, but there were a lot of, it's not like you sort of knock it down to like a Rafinha or a Hernandez or someone like that who can instantly do something else. But I did just think there were just a number of times where he got the ball. I'm thinking of one in particular. There were a couple of other times. One I remember is where he got the ball. It was a nice flowing move, and he took a touch, and the attack sort of stalled, but it was still live. Nonto was about 10 yards away, and he just kicked it out, and he missed Nonto standing still, and I just thought, he's slowing us down, and I guess he was doing what Farker told him to, which was play long ball. I thought 90% of the balls just got headed away by Byrne or Shah or Botman, but I guess that's not really his fault. But I thought as soon as Calvert-Lewin came on, we had someone who knew what runs to make, knew where to be in the box, and I just don't think Metcher is that player, and I'm not sure what player he is, to be honest. If he's just going to be a bully to to win the ball, that's fine. But yeah, again, maybe now I'm thinking about it, maybe it's more a point generally about the squad and about who we need. Because if we had someone like Spurzian, this guy, if he's any good, if he could get it, knock it down to him, and then he can play a ball or he can beat a player and shoot them, fine. But I did just think he offered very little yesterday, and I thought Calvert-Lewin came on and put himself about, had a
It's
half chance, but
it's 2 different players. One roughs them up, and one. Well, I thought Calvert-Lewin looked like he'd just come off the beach, but yeah, he was different. It was a different thing. But I thought sometimes I said it last week. We're just going to have to be nasty and a bit dirty. And I think in our midfield, I say Sean Longstaff did that a couple of times, crunching tackles, gets the crowd going, shows when they're not going to just bypass us and take it easy. And I thought Metcha held up. He's our top goal scorer. Yeah.
Jesus, still our top goal scorer. I think another thing that that annoyed me, I think he dove in the box at one point. Yeah, but he dove, and then it's one of those where if he's still on his feet, he could have got a shot off, and it's just like, Lucas, you don't just have to take penalties, mate. You can score anytime you want. You can have a shot. An open play. I don't know. Maybe I am being a bit harsh.
I think you're being a bit harsh, but I thought he did.
But generally, but I think the bigger point is Calvert-Lewin is it's cautiously optimistic, and
yes, definitely.
Obviously he's got to make that step up. Realistically, he has to score for it to look like a good bit of business. But I do think both of his appearances so far, there've been plenty to look at and go, yeah, you can see why we brought him in. It wasn't just a, well, he's available, let's just have
Yeah.
him kind of signing.
He made a mark, didn't he? When he came on,
Yeah,
he was he didn't just disappear into it. And it's a 25-man squad, so it's horses for courses really, and we're going to have to mix and match. Some games we might need a number 10. I think this Eddie Spritzer is a number 10, from what I understand. That's what I'm going to call him if he comes in.
Eddie
And
Spritz.
Eddie Spritzer. So yeah, it's going to be. Sometimes we're going to have to have that defensive midfield. Remember, we've got Ampadu to come back as well, which I think when he comes back in might give. I think Stack he's still finding his feet. He's a good player, and he goes forward. But I think he possibly needs to be released from maybe a few defensive duties. But there's games like this we're just going to have to get a point. Just don't lose. That's the most important point again. We know the scenario, what it is. The formula. That's the word I'm looking for.
And it was encouraging, I think, that the midfield did look so solid without Tanaka and Ampadu as well. That actually, I mean, Longstaff, you do think with that experience, he's always going to add something. It was a worry with Gruev because I do think he will probably find himself surplus to requirements maybe by January. I think almost certainly by next summer. But yeah, he was fine. I mean, it was a very simple game for him, wasn't it? It was, it was spoil, it was foul, it was, press, and he did all right. He still can't use his right foot, and bless him, it's when it doesn't lead to giving the ball away. It is quite funny to just see him utterly panic when his only option is to use his right foot, and he just can't do it, can he? He has to get some kind of left foot contact.
I know that feeling.
It's
my right foot's not great either. I like the look of James Justin James. Say
he was
GG
okay,
for the JJ,
when
but
he came on.
it's sorry, buddy. An experienced player coming. I mean, you look at the bench yesterday. Sam Byron couldn't get on the bench yesterday, so we're going to have a deep squad. And we were saying as well, to make a space, they may bring in Mahidi as the third keeper because as he's under 21, he doesn't have to be registered. And Alex Cairns, who's probably not going to get a game anyway. He's more of a coach, and he looks happy to be there anyway. He seems to be. I think he's there as a coach, goalkeeper, just enjoying his time. So I think that would be something sensible to do. And who's going out as well, as we say. JB had Melia still to go, and of course we lost Patrick this week, which it was a bit of a barbed comment in there because Patrick, whatever ups and downs as the lead song goes, but I'll always remember him for the Villa hat trick, and that goal at Peterborough was just directly behind that. But he did say, great time the fans, Bielsa, and a bit. I can't remember the exact words, but it wasn't great the way it all ended. So he's not happy. But good luck to him. As long as he doesn't sign for another Premier League team and come back to haunt us. After watching the Old Firm today, come to Celtic, Patrick.
Do you know what? I think I was saying that Patrick Bamford has the perfect profile of a Rangers signing, just in terms of like an English forward who you've heard of, who has had a couple of decent seasons, and just, I mean, not saying for a moment that I want him to, but it just seems like that's where he would go. And they've had a bad start to the season, and if he rocks up there, it'll be the least surprising thing I've ever heard.
I'd be very disappointed if Patrick did that.
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. But do you know what? I think for a championship team, it makes a lot of sense. I don't think a Premier League team would take him. Someone like maybe a Wrexham, or I don't really know who started well in the Championship.
Borough,
he's got
history
would
there.
Make perfect sense to go back there. Nailing's there, isn't he? And
So I hope he goes on and does well for some, but not at their expense, of course. Any player.
No, of course, and it's always sad. It's still, you still feel a pang of sadness when a member of the Bielsa promotion team goes, because of how much sort of unconditional love that team got, and almost every player that is, it leaves. Jack Harrison really is the I think the thing is, because of obviously Meslier was there and came in for the the last 9 games, didn't he? Ahead of Casilla, and
Yeah.
then Strout was there or thereabouts, but was very much a bit part player, still a youth player, really. So it leaves Jack Harrison as the last proper member of that team, and Meslier obviously is going to go somewhere. Obviously, there's rumours he's going to a certain club in Turkey, which would probably sour things a little bit.
Someone needs to have a word with him, really, if that wouldn't be a good move for him. I think he'd leave with our blessing, but no, I don't think that would go well. And
it wouldn't.
I've heard, Valencia been mentioned, and as someone said, Largy Ramazan, he's going to look behind him and go, "Oh no!" But
Well, do you know what? With the way that the way that Leeds players have performed since leaving. I mean, Isaac Schmidt scored on his debut about 5 minutes in for Werder Bremen yesterday. So he'll go to wherever and suddenly become Peter Schmeichel. He'll start catching crosses, and of course, he'll leave with blessings, and it he was always I always liked him. I thought for mistakes and all, he was still a decent keeper and a good character, I think, to have. And it will be a shame because, as I say, he's got that Bielsa link, and it'll be a shame to see him go. But the more important thing really now is getting really at least one player through the door, ideally 2. Really, I don't see how we get 2 done tomorrow.
I don't know. It's going to be. It'd be nice to be involved in a. See. I remember Forest did a few years ago, and they signed about 4 or 5 players, and I'm not saying we will, but fans just love signing players, don't they? Just
absolutely
new shiny toys, and it's like a championship manager. You sign everybody.
It would be great to just be sat at work on Flight Radar and tracking a flight. One thing I do want to sort of. I mean, I'm not saying that you would know the answer to this, Jerry, but if you're signing a player from Russia, how do you get them here? Because
I don't know. Well,
you can't fly.
No, he's Armenian, so I think he would probably. I'm sure there's still countries you can fly to Russia from, and you can do a medical anywhere, can't you? So
I think, but it was just a thought because obviously, it doesn't necessarily mean that he supports war, but it's sort of like it still seems a bit weird. And sort of logistically, are we going to be sort of is Parag Marate now sort of on the phone to the border agency bribing some Armenian?
He's probably thinking just nip down to Sheffield and get Cosima. Probably easier.
I mean, to be fair though, I wouldn't have minded that before I saw a picture of him at full time. I think yesterday because they lost again, four games, 4 losses for Sheffield United, which is
their manager on the way out.
But the final score had a picture of Gus Hamer. He doesn't look fit. I mean, he's got a bit of a gut on him. I know he always has a little bit, and he's always had the bit of comments at him for being a bit of a chubster, but he really doesn't look ready.
Well, things don't look great at Sheffield United anyway, do they? I think their manager. I think he's more or less gone. That seems to be the rumor that they're looking. When they get a replacement,
what did they expect? What did they expect signing a guy who has had really the best thing he's ever done is had half a season of
and signing players and algorithms.
Yeah,
the same player and algorithms and all that. So
ridiculous.
It'll be interesting. But the championship is no concern of ours anymore, so we can take it. But overall, I'm happy going into the international break. 4 points, 11th place, couple of decent home matches, 2 clean sheets, and possible players to come in. And Arsenal have just lost 1-0. So it's all right. I'm not necessarily cheering Liverpool, but that's. Happy stuff. Imagine Villa and Palace kicking off at 7:15 on a Sunday night. That's mad. Who would want to go to a football match this time of night?
7. What is it? Is it a 7 o'clock
on Sunday or whatever used to be on at that time?
7 o'clock Sunday. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, as somebody said, it's prime time USA, isn't it? Afternoon or whatever. So
it is.
We're in the Premier League. Wait until there was no VAR yesterday, but wait until. Actually, VAR did look at that the match. penalty. I think I noticed that in Match of the Day last night. But
Yeah.
yeah, VAR was a disaster. Yes, I mean that goal that Fulham got chalked off was
Jeez
absolute
me.
disgrace. The guy
Yeah.
Michael Salisbury, who was in the VAR box, I think he was stood down today, and I remember him refereeing a game at Brighton a few years ago, and he was dreadful. I've sort of, he's always stuck in my mind, and. Yeah, his dad actually refereed the game when we beat Bristol Rovers. There's a bit of trivia for you
Okay.
in that promotion game. I'm going
Oh,
off on a total
interesting.
tangent there, but VAR, it's going to come and kick us in the teeth sometime this season, and we just got to be prepared for it.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Because I think for once I totally agreed with Scott Parker, something that Scott
Yeah,
Parker said, which is that I mean, managers always like to have a whine about these
yeah,
things, and some of it's a bit cringe, but I think what he said was in a year we won't be celebrating goals anymore, and that's one thing that I did
yeah, yeah.
really like about the championship is knowing that when a goal goes in, all you have to do is look at the ref, look at the linesman, and that's
Yeah,
it.
totally
Obviously
agree.
that 0.0001%
Mm,
they might have
yeah,
a chat and it's gone, but realistically, you still have that pure, outpouring of emotion. And I was just thinking last night, if I think there was a little bit of, can't remember when it was or what sort of move it was, but I remember there was just a slight thing of maybe that was offside or maybe that was a foul in the middle and then we came forward you just automatically think like, oh, hang on, if we score here,
yeah,
I'm not going to be able to celebrate because I
yeah.
know that there's either
Big check.
it might be fine, but in 2-3 minutes time they're going to give it again and you're just going to be like, oh, yay,
Yeah, I
it's
think where was it? Was it the Brentford game yesterday? One of them they had total combined 16 minutes injury time from first half and second half based on VAR checks. I think it should be within 60 seconds, or maybe like cricket and tennis. You get a captain shout. You've got two, three checks, and if they go against you, you lose it, and if you win it, you retain it, rather than everything being checked. But with this new automated offside, it looks, that looks pretty good. You think that should be all right. But yesterday's was a guy who spun on the ball, nice spin, and his foot just landed on the other player's foot. He couldn't even see what he was doing. Freddie Munoz, we're gonna buy tomorrow, from Fulham, and I just think, how far back do you go? Yeah,
yeah,
and so
ridiculous.
it really was, and a great goal chalked off. So I suppose unless you're Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, etc., these decisions will go against you. But it
Yeah.
doesn't go against us, and we're in 11th place. We're mid-table where we need to be. Another
Yeah.
32, 34 points, and we're there.
Well, in
Easy.
order to have these encounters with VAR, of course, you have to put the ball in the back of the net first. So maybe we
Get
should
the penalty
start there
box.
and
Yeah.
and see where we get to.
We might get Whistler and Isaac in tomorrow because they need to move. So I think that
Yeah,
could be the
they need
shot.
to go somewhere. They need to
Isaac to
go
Leeds on
somewhere.
loan. That'd be so good. Yeah, take
Yeah,
him now. Yeah,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
he starts on the bench behind the Meche, who was brilliant yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Anyway, right. Well, we've managed to get half an hour after one of the dullest games, probably of the season, which is pretty good. Obviously, mostly
I'd rather
talking about other things,
it was
but
much better than a 5-0 defeat at Arsenal. Much better.
absolutely take that any day of the week.
Yeah. Oh,
So there we go.
Richard asked me there about Finn Azaz going to Southampton. I think it's a strange one. I thought it's a sideways step. I think he's a Premier League player, but it's a strange one. I don't know why he's gone there. But he's a good
Interesting.
player. I would have had him at Leeds. Good player, Finn Azaz.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah,
Hello to Carl.
absolutely.
Mate Carl. He always comes on here and supports us. Hey, Carl. See you soon.
Carl.
Hey, I've done
Okay.
a, only done a, I know, sorry, one last thing. It was nice before the game. Minutes applause for all the people we lost, all the Leeds fans who we've lost in the last year. So one was a
Yeah,
good mate
lovely.
of mine, a good mate of a guy called John Redmond from Dublin, who I used to meet plenty of times coming over to Leeds, and a lot of people knew John. He was a proper Leeds fan. I loved Leeds, and a decent guy, and very sad to lose John. So if any of his family are listening, our condolences, and marching on together and all that. Yeah, we're a big
Yeah, it
family.
was Yeah, it was lovely, wasn't it? And I think that we've done that every year for a while now,
Yeah,
which is really good. And yeah, friend of mine did it
yeah,
last year or the year before.
yeah.
Just dead easy. I think all you have to do is just ask, and the club do it, which is great, really. Because yeah, as you say, Marching On Together comes out, All Leeds Aren't We comes out, and it sort of, you feel it a bit more, don't you?
They're right family.
When
They're
that
right family.
happens. Yeah,
Good.
excellent. So there we go. So Leeds are 11th now.
Yeah,
Could well fall below if Palace win. If Villa absolutely, in fact, if Villa or Palace win, we'll end up in 12th. But still a point clear of Manchester City after 3 games, and I think any one of us probably would have taken that
hilarious.
before Everton. 1 win, 1 loss, 1 draw.
Yeah,
Not too much to be sniffed about. Deadline day tomorrow.
yeah,
Not sure if we'll be doing anything about that. I guess it will just depend
yeah.
on what happens. But get your notifications on for us on YouTube.
If there's anything to talk about, and hopefully there will. And next week, of course, international break. I'm off to Dublin to see next World Champions play Hungary, and yeah, I'm not getting carried away at all.
Not at all. Not at all. Is it World Cup qualifying? Is it as
Yeah,
well?
yeah, we
Is
play
that what
Ireland
we're
play
on?
Hungary at home and away to Armenia, and
Ooh. Oh, so you could
our
be
new
seeing our
our
new
new
number
striker,
10.
our new number 10 could be playing against us. He's the captain
Yeah,
apparently, so I'll keep an eye
right.
out for Eddie Spritz.
Eddie Spritz. Oh dear. Well, anyway, if as I say, get your notifications on for Talking Leeds on X and on YouTube. So if any live streams come up, you can jump straight on, and we'll get our thoughts on. Regardless, really, of what happens, we may just push something out, even just to berate the Leeds United board for getting nothing done. But as I say, hopefully we get at least one over the line. But we'll just have to wait and see. Barring that, we will be back for the next game, which I hadn't bothered to look up.
We are away to Fulham.
Away to
Away to
Fulham, which is a
Fulham.
Saturday 3 o'clocker.
Away
Hooray!
to
That's
Fulham,
Saturday.
away to Wolves, home to
Yeah,
Bournemouth, I think.
yeah.
Is
Two
is
Saturday 3 o'clocks at
yeah,
last. So they'll be able to go out at a reasonable hour.
yeah.
Hopefully, maybe even on the day of the game, Jerry.
Okay,
Maybe
wow.
if we're
Well,
lucky.
I'm in that there London, so we'll have to see what the trains are
Ah,
like. Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, maybe not
Yeah.
then.
And I will avoid the sniffer dogs because they like me in London, those sniffer dogs, as they did last week. That they pulled me out of the crowd for drugs, and I haven't got any.
Oh.
He said, "Have you got drugs?" I said, "No." He says, "Have you got a dog?" I said, "Yes." He says, "That'll be
Ah,
it." Yeah.
right. It's one
I
of the
won't have
two.
to
It's either
search you.
drugs or dog.
At least he didn't put any gloves on, which is always a good
Yeah.
thing. Yeah. Anyway,
Anyway, and on that note,
on that note, yeah.
Jerry, thank you so much again for joining me. Thank you again, everyone, in the comments. Apologies we didn't get to all of them because a lot of them came through, and we did go on a lot of tangents. But as I say, we will probably get something out for the international break, so you're not too bored, just to keep you entertained. But Jerry, thank you again, and thank you everyone, and we will see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.